Just want to kick things off again for this week by saying a massive thank you to my new Patreon backers this week. So thank you to Aid Lamb, David McKenzie and Gabriel Gonzalez for your new Patreon pledges, and also to Thelonious, Oscar McCarthy, Bazinski and Reese Huckabee, who've both increased their pledges in the last week or so. You will never know how much I appreciate those of you who back the channel on Patreon. It genuinely is the difference maker. It's the thing that allows me to continue to do this full time and support my family, so thank you very much. And of course, an ongoing thank you to everyone else who ever watches the videos, subscribes to the channel, likes the videos, comments. It's all massively supportive. Please don't see this as me begging you for money. Usual rules apply. Don't pledge if you can't afford to and all that stuff, but those of you who have, thank you. Those of you who support me in other ways, thank you too. It's a Kev Appreciation Day. That's wrong. I'm appreciating you. It's a Subscriber Appreciation Day. Does it work better? Start the video. Hello and welcome to Club 6, part 36 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have got a massive home game against Liverpool and a massive Champions League game away against Celtic. Since you were last with me, we've been very patchy with our form. We don't care about the FA Cup. We played the reserves against Brighton, so that isn't an issue. But losing against West Ham and losing against Leeds, they both are issues. And I know there's been some big wins around there, most notably against Tottenham, who are our closest rivals in the league, I think, or they were at the time. Of course, we smashed them down the league a little bit. But all of those dodgy results, we're still comfortably in second place. We're not at risk of falling out of the Champions League spots. That is already sewn up with 12 games to go. But we are now 7 points behind Manchester United. Now, I know we came back from a bigger points total than that with a shorter gap between now and the end of the season this time last year. However, that was Tottenham. Man United have previous for winning the league. They know how to get the job done. I think that ship has now pretty much sailed. And 100% focus needs to be on the Champions League, especially if we don't get a result today against Liverpool. So this is the team we're putting out there for the Liverpool game. We've got Weiss in goal, a back four of Martelot, Felipe, Vitali and Jamie, with Davidson, Leshy and Henrique in midfield, Schaefer in behind, Dolberg and Pinheiro. Pingu has been really suffering with injuries despite being one of the top scorers in the Premier League, just hitting his prime, 18 goals from 18 games so far this season. But injuries are just, I mean, it's constant little injuries. Where are we? So since the start of this season, he's had a pulled hamstring, a pulled groin, a bruised ankle and broken ribs. Please stop getting injured, Pingu. We need you to play more games. If you were playing every game, we wouldn't be suffering the way we are at the moment with inconsistent form. And we can't play him again today because I can't risk breaking him. He's still recovering from his broken ribs, and I can't risk breaking him even further before the Celtic game because the Champions League is our top priority. So, yeah, we've got, I mean, Liverpool, remember, this isn't a typical Liverpool team. This isn't the Liverpool team that you would be used to from the real world. This is a Liverpool team who spent most of the last 5 years in the bottom half of the Premier League. They've flirted with relegation a couple of times. I know earlier on this season when we played them, they were up in the Champions League spots again for the first time in a long time. And it was noticeable that they were there, but they've clearly fallen off the pace a little bit as the season has gone on and are back down into their normal sort of mid-table position, which suggests they're in poor form and should be beatable. But we're not exactly in the best form in the world either, so it's really anybody's game. Leshy with the shot from miles out, and Leshy scores an absolute screamer. He's been linked with Barcelona again throughout the transfer window, and I've got about 4 players at the club. Leshy is absolutely one of them. I think Pingu is in that number as well. Davidson and possibly Felipe is the 4th. But I've promised them that we're going to win the Champions League this year. That was how I've convinced them not to leave in January. If we don't win the Champions League this year, not only is it potentially going to be disastrous for us if we focused on that and don't do it, but in a normal season we could just go and try again next year. For us, if we don't then sell all our stars in the summer, we're going to end up with a dynamics problem. So I think, as much as I've said time and time again that I think Arsenal are going to be the final club for Non-League to Legend this year, I am now coming round to the idea, after much persuasion from the comments section, that if we don't win the Champions League this year, I will actively look to move away from Arsenal again. We didn't look last summer because we just won the league. If you remember the summer before, Juventus and Real Madrid both turned me down for interviews. They weren't even interested in interviewing me. But we've now got a Premier League title under our belts. We'll have some kind of Champions League showing this year and another goal from Pinheiro. So hopefully my standing in world football has increased a little bit. And we might get taken seriously by someone in the summer. We're not going to go to another club in England. I think it's pretty clear that England is us and Man United. I don't want to go to Man United because that seems silly going there when I'm already at the club who beat them last year. Although Mourinho probably is due a retirement. But if you look at who's in the Man United team, he'll retire at the moment when complete rebuild is needed. Looking at it, it looks like the rebuild has been going on over the last couple of years with their league position, but it kind of hasn't. They're still relying on Lukaku and Rashford as their forwards, and there's a couple of other. I think Pogba might still be there as well. I could be making that one up, but there's a lot of real players there still, considering we're 12 years in the future, and I don't want to go there and have to replace Rashford and Pogba and Lukaku and all these other players who've been the mainstay of their team throughout all those title wins. So Man United's not an option. We're better than any other club in England. Look at the points difference, for goodness sake. We're on 61 points, third place West Ham 47. It is a two-team league in the Premier League these days. So if we are going to move on from Arsenal, it's got to be abroad, and it's got to be from a team who are in a better position to win the Champions League than we are. Pinheiro scores again, it's 3-0. So that's going to have to be, I mean, your European superpowers: Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Paris Saint-Germain. I think they're probably the four. Don't know if I'd leave for anybody else. Certainly the Arsenal we're at now. We'll know a little bit more when we see how we progress in the Champions League. But based on the fact that we're league champions and the state of the current Premier League table, there aren't many teams in Europe bigger than we are now. So I'll only be leaving because of the fact that I'm having to sell all my team to these teams that are bigger than us. And largely it's Barcelona. Barcelona are linked with all of our players. So it could be that I turn up at Barcelona, bring most of this squad with me, add it into the ones who are already good at Barcelona, and we finish the job still with the likes of Pingu and Leshy and Davidson. And that would be pretty cool. I'd like that. I'm not bringing Pingu on in midfield. That's just crazy talk. Let's give Herford a little bit of time at left back again. He's really not progressing as a left back the way I hoped he would. I think the Jake Herford experiment might be a one season experiment that hasn't really worked. We've got Lafredo there as a backup centre back. I think we're probably going to look to move Herford on again in the summer. Oh, I've just said chances of me doing another summer with Arsenal are basically zero unless nobody wants me, because we either win the Champions League and end the series, or we don't win the Champions League and I look to leave. I'm not just going to resign now, so I guess I could still be here next year if nobody wants me. This has been a good performance. I'm impressed with our turnaround based on recent form. This was a bit touch and go, but we've absolutely dominated the game. Liverpool have only had one shot on target in the entire game, and we've just dominated them from start to finish. As it stands right now, we are only 4 points behind Man United again, but obviously they have that game in hand. They're in incredible form. We are relying on them having a Tottenham-style collapse from last season, and I don't know how likely that is to happen with Man United. So we'll continue to keep half an eye on the league, but the Champions League is our big focus, and we need a big performance against Celtic next. So 2 changes for the Celtic game. David comes in for Henrique in midfield, and I think for the first time since I've been Arsenal manager, I'm not playing a fully fit Kasper Dolberg when I'm playing a full-strength team. Kasper Dolberg has been dropped, everybody. He is 32 now, so I think I'm justified in doing it. He's still a 4-star player, and he's still one of the best players in the history of Arsenal, but we're bringing Pingu back in and going with Pingu and Pinheiro up front. Pinheiro, after his performance against Liverpool and his performance in recent games, if we have a look at his... Okay... You can tell I've not played this game since Friday. Well, he was good against Liverpool. I mean, to be fair, he was good against Tottenham as well. And got some assists against us. So, actually, I was right. Kev's always right. He's maybe not been scoring goals for fun, but he's been playing well. And he scored goals against Liverpool, and that's crucial. So, we'll go with Pinheiro and Pingu. And the postage and packing forward line. Hey, P and P. Oh, Gordon Bennett. I wish I didn't speak sometimes. This is what I get for recording a video on a bank holiday. Nothing good can come from working on a bank holiday. Goodness me. And if if Celtic had scored with 11 seconds on the clock, I think I'd have just resigned on the spot, because that would have been utterly ridiculous. Schaefer with the corner. Pingu's there. And through some Robbie Nadat-esque goalkeeping, we end up 1-0 up. Less than a minute on the clock. Both teams were good chances in the first 60 seconds of the game, but this is a little bit special. Robbie Nadat exists in this universe too, but he calls himself Bulker. Fair enough. As long as he's there, I'm happy. Schaefer forward to Pinheiro. Still only 5 minutes on the clock. Can we grab a second? Pinheiro, and it falls to David. And that's quite a big miss from Junior David. Actually, you would expect him to do a little bit better there. There's media reports of him trying to force his way back into the England squad for the World Cup, because we've got a World Cup summer, everybody. Yes, we're 12 years in the future, but a World Cup all the same, and we've got players who could end up going there and representing England out of our Arsenal team. I say players, it's mainly Junior David, because we got rid of Reece Nelson. We've got rid of, well, Patrick Roberts is out on loan somewhere and hasn't played a Premier League game for years. We've got Omar McMillan, our young goalkeeper. I can't think of any other English players that we've got though. So Tommy Merson. Well, I suppose Tommy Merson, but when was the last time you saw Tommy Merson play? He doesn't even get on the bench anymore. Poor old Tommy Merson. He had his fun, but Schaefer's one of the best players in the world now. Merson, I mean, he's on the bench today, but Merson isn't getting back in this team anytime soon. Just like Dolberg, we're having to move a few people. I was looking at my central defenders, actually, according to the assistant manager reports. Obviously, I've been playing Vitali as my first choice for ages, because he's the one what Kev bought. But my assistant manager now agrees with me and says Vitali is a 4-star defender compared to the other 4 centre-backs we've got at the club, who are sort of 2.5 to 3.5 stars. So Vitali is not just my favourite, but he's turned into the best at the club according to my assistant as well. Unless the assistant manager's just a yes man. And Pingu forces a save out of Bulker, and you would have expected him to do a little bit better. There's 2 fairly good chances we've had. We've scored a bit of a weird fluke goal from a pretty soft header from a corner, and then missed a couple of big chances, which is troublesome. We all know what Pingu's like when he misses a couple of chances, or misses a big chance. He tends to have one of those games then. So Dolberg, don't get too comfy on the bench. You will see the light of day in this game, I think. Pingu with another clear-cut chance into the hands of the goalkeeper again. Pingu, remember, recovering from injury, but not playing very well today at all. But we are... It's Pingu in. And Pingu does score this time. Is he onside? I think he's onside. I can't see the linesman. But Pingu scores. Kev's talking nonsense. Well, I've had one moment of being right, and I don't even remember what it was. And now a moment of absolute nonsense, because I'm talking about Pingu not having a good game, and there he goes and scores for me. So that told me Pingu, good play. Good play? Well played, sir. 2-0 up, away from home in the Champions League. And we're already thinking of the next round. We've obviously got the home leg to come yet, but if we're completely in control, we might not even show that tomorrow. You'll have to let me know down in the comments, because I am pretty much, well, I am back to recording these day to day again. It's Monday lunchtime as I'm recording this, so let me know down in the comments whether you want to see the second leg. The fact that Celtic have scored means you almost certainly will. That's what I get for assuming we were already through to the next round. And I mean, it's some pretty poor defending. I don't know if Vitali should be letting that bounce. He should be moving out towards that and attacking it. But he's let it bounce. The Celtic players picked it up. And we've not really... I don't know if we've attempted to put a tackle in at any point during that move. And to have the opposition score when you're not even making a tackle, I'm not that happy about that. Right. 2-1 though. We've got our 2 away goals. 60,000 people packed into Celtic Park. Only 3,000 of them Arsenal fans. I don't even know what corner we're in. I've not seen a red shirt at all yet, I don't think. I've not exactly been looking out for them. And I am red-green colourblind, so there's every chance they're the Arsenal fans just there, and I've just not noticed them. But Pingu plays David in. Junior David's in behind. Pingu's there again, grabs his second of the game. I apologise to you, Pingu. I knew you'd come good, and he's just scored an absolute cracker. He starts to move off with the free kick that's straight into the wall, picks it up again, and plays it across to Schaefer. David then just has all the time in the world to pick his man, and Pingu's there with a very firm header into that top corner. And Pingu's having another one of those games where he's an absolute hero. This is why we love Pingu. And Do I have another Pingu thumbnail? Or does that make it too obvious if I do a Pingu thumbnail? Right, we're going to grab a fourth. It will all be over if we grab a fourth. Davidson plays Pingu in, hits the post. So close to his hat-trick, but he hits the post. And it's substitution o'clock. We'll take Pinero off and bring Dolberg on. We'll swap those two over because that's the way around we normally play them. And we'll also take off Leshy for Henrique and stick David back into his preferred deep lying playmaker position for the last 20 minutes or so. I might bring Tommy Merson on, actually, with it being Europe and him being Mr. Arsenal, because we haven't seen Tommy Merson for ages, and it just feels like the sort of game where he's going to come on and score a goal because he loves playing European football, and he still doesn't understand how he's collecting winners' medals not playing for Arsenal when he was supposed to be leaving, then got in the team, then started winning medals after he dropped out of the team again. But regardless, he wants a Champions League winners' medal because it's going to be his last opportunity, because he's surely moving on in the summer because he just doesn't get anywhere near the team anymore. But we've won 3-1, so let me know down in the comments whether you want to see the second leg on tomorrow's episode or whether you just want me to go straight through to what should, in theory, be the next round, which I guess would be around here somewhere, possibly even in line with the Man United game. In fact, when on earth does Champions League happen? They load those games towards the end of the season, don't they? If the second leg of this isn't until March, I'll probably show you the second leg anyway, if that's the case. Anyway, positive result. That's the important thing. If you have enjoyed this episode, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.